gets to the door, he peeks out the window, and he said all he could see was the silhouette of a man who was turned away from him. So he opens the door, and the man turns around, and he says this guy was glowing and had this just big old smile on his face. And he says it blew him away because the man standing before him was Isaac Henry Washington Sr. It was my dad. So my dad is standing there before Steve, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what is my dad doing? Because he's telling me the story, too, so I'm just as confused as y'all are. I'm like, what is my dad doing at Steve? But my dad delivers pizza, so I got, like, all kind of thoughts in my head. I'm like, did you order a pizza in the middle of this depression? Like, what was going on? Like, maybe he was hungry. I don't know. And so he says that my dad turned around and smiled at him. He said that my dad instantly could tell something was wrong, and he looks at him and he says, are you okay? And Steve was like, I've had better days. And, I'm just thinking about that because there's so many people that I come in contact with where if they were really honest with me, the answer to the question when I asked them, how are you doing? They would probably say, I've had better days. And so then my dad reaches out to him and he hands him a Bible. And Steve said, I looked down at this Bible and I realized that it had my name engraved on it, Steve Subia. And he looks at my dad and he's like, what's going on? And my dad says, Isaac came into town and he felt like God wanted you to get this, but he wasn't able to bring it over there to you. So he asked me to bring it when I was available. And he said that he's written some scriptures out in there for you, and he wants you to go and to read those scriptures, and he feels like they're going to help you. And he looked at him and he said, you don't know how much this means to me. And as I was pondering that, because Dave was talking about it, what this wraps around is this concept of the sovereignty of God. And it's very important for what we're going to be going through today because some of the stuff's just not going to make sense, right? There's some stuff that happens in this book that, like, I can't give you, like, real rational answers for why God did things the way that he did them. I can't give you very conclusive, this is step by step as to why God did this instead of this and why he put this person there or why he'd allowed this. But it's this concept of the sovereignty of God. The fact that at the exact moment where Steve is calling out to God, think about all the things that had to go right. The traffic from my dad to get there at that exact moment. The time that he left the house. All of the things that he could have planned to do and the ways that he could have planned to do. And the exact moment that this man is sitting at the moment of his depression, calling out to our King, our sovereign God, had already delivered. He delivered my dad before the plea for help came out. Before he released the words to call for God, the message, the answer was already en route. Like, that's the God that we serve.